Linda Johnson, your host this evening for In the Public Interest, and my guest this evening is Dr. Charles B. Simone of the Simone Protective Cancer Institute, and we're talking about colorectal cancer this evening. March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and before the end of the program, we're going to be talking about a partnership that the New Jersey Seed Program has with the New Jersey Federation of Food Banks. But right now, we're talking about diet, nutrition, prevention, and trying to cut our cancer. We're trying to extend our lives beyond cancer. And one point that we do want to talk about is, during the break, we talked about the fact that if I'm eating the same diet that my grandmother ate or my mom ate, how come I'm not healthier, Dr.
That's a good question. We know that the food supply today is very different than it was in our grandparents' era. For instance, the USDA did a study. They looked at the food content of vitamins and minerals from the year 1975 and compared it to the year 2004. And what they found was the vitamin and mineral supply was decreased anywhere from 14% to 400% less compared to 1975. So, the apple you're eating today, the other fruit, the other vegetables you're eating today have much less vitamins and minerals that will protect you, antioxidants, protective vitamins, than they had in 75 and earlier. And when you compare 75 to World War II, there was even more vitamins and mineral in those foods in World War II. So our food supply is very different. It looks the same, but it's very different. So what we want to make sure is, especially in the wintertime, we need to accept foods only from this country, because other countries don't have to adhere to our strict guidelines with regard to pesticides, insecticides. And if they come from outside this country, you will believe that there's more insecticides, pesticides, and less vitamins and minerals. So the food supply is critical. We must adhere to a better one. So what I tell people, what I tell young kids, is to avoid four-legged animals, avoid shellfish, and avoid dairy products, because dairy products, unless they're skim or non-fat, have fat as well. We're trying to avoid fatty intake, and four legs, shell, and dairy have fat. If you want dairy, it should be non-fat or skim. So what's that leave you? It leaves you with two-legged animals, chicken, turkey. Make sure they're free range, because you don't want to get injected with hormones and antibiotics. So free range chicken, free range turkey. You want to make sure you can get some fresh, fresh swimming fish from the ocean. Fishes are good. They have something very important in them, omega-3 fatty acids, fish oils. We want to bring those in. Fish oils have been shown to lower cholesterol, triglycerides especially, but they also have been shown to decrease the mortality, the death rate from heart attacks, and the first heart attack to begin with. So fish oils are critical. You also want to bring in aspirin. Aspirin, why? Because it decreases the risk of colon cancer by itself, and also decreases the risk of heart attack and stroke. And you also want to bring in a good calcium supplement, because calcium has been shown to decrease the risk of colon cancer again. So these are minimal things that cost little dollars that will help go a long way to help prevent diseases like colon cancer, breast cancer, prostate cancer.
Now, what about the calcium? My concern is, I thought there was a study done where they were saying basically if young girls, if their calcium intake up until they were 18, it protected against certain things. So am I really gaining something from a calcium supplement if I'm a woman my age?
In this country, it's been shown that 18-year-old women have evidence of osteopenia already. The intake of calcium is not very much in this country. We typically take in about 300 to 500 milligrams a day as a typical American. What we need, though, as per the government, anywhere from 1,200 to 1,500 milligrams a day. So we do need to take in calcium. The calcium kind should be calcium carbonate and nothing else. That's biologically active one. and should be taken in the evening before bedtime without food. Food will bind calcium and render it useless.
Okay, so what about a little more about that 10-point plan?
Good.
I always like to address that because it seems like such a very basic and simple thing that we can do to help ourselves.
In 1980, we proposed it. We wrote about it. It's been the same all these decades because the scientific evidence has just corroborated what we said in 1980. So we talked about the food, low fat, high fiber, taking in certain vitamins and minerals, taking aspirin as well. Second point is smoking. Don't smoke.
Oh, yeah.
We know that. But key thing is secondhand smoke, involuntary smoking, increases the risk of cancers a huge amount. 17% of all of our lung cancers we see are in people who never smoked, but who inhaled between ages 3 and 15. So we're really harming people who inhale smoke involuntarily.
So it's really harming our environment.
Tremendously, but our people especially. Alcohol. We know that 2 or 3 glasses of alcohol per week, not a day, will increase the risk of prostate cancer by 180%, breast cancer by 250%. Big numbers for a seemingly small amount of alcohol. A sedentary lifestyle will increase the risk of colon cancer and prostate cancer and breast cancer, but colon cancer especially. So what do you have to do? Just walk 20 minutes 4 times a week. That's doable. Even in the cold weather, if you don't want to go outside, pick 2 or 3 rooms in your house and just go round and round and round. Uninterrupted time is what you need to have. Not 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and 5 minutes, but 20 minutes uninterrupted time. And finally, ways of helping you to decrease stress. These are stressful times, and they're going to get worse.
Yes.
So what we need to do is a number of things. Hot water will help mitigate stress and increase the immune system by calming down the brain. We know that prayer will do the same thing, and even music. These are all very important things to do. One thing we didn't talk about, which is important within the nutritional framework, is some of our beverages are harmful to us. For instance, with the Freedom of Information Act, we uncovered that 80% of all diet soda has something in it called benzene. Benzene is a very harmful chemical that actually increases the risk of leukemia and lymphoma dramatically. But it also is a general carcinogen, so your risk of other cancers increase dramatically. We know that certain beverages, like any beverages that has vitamin C in it with benzoate is a typically non-harmful preservative, but when combined with vitamin C will increase the risk of benzene as well. So certain beverages we need to avoid as well. So the 10-point plan has been shown to do 2 things now. It will reduce the risk of cancer in general for sure by dramatic amounts, and if you do have a cancer, especially a diet-related cancer, it'll increase longevity.
Very good. Now, March is National Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month, and I know, Dr. Simone, you were involved. The New Jersey Seed Program has worked in partnership in past years and again this year with the New Jersey Federation of Food Banks. And for all you listeners out there, and we touched on this a little bit, these are tough economic times. So my thing is, hey, sometimes in our lives we're all going to need some help. But the New Jersey Seed Program continues to provide a statewide colorectal cancer awareness campaign that focuses on targeting the population assisted by the food pantries that are throughout the state of New Jersey. And I know one year you honored us with being a presenter. The New Jersey Seed Program will assist and utilize the food banks by inserting health information in both English and Spanish in the food bags that are picked up by the food banks throughout the state of New Jersey. This awareness campaign is aimed at educating individuals about colorectal cancer prevention and early detection, and about the New Jersey Seed Program and the services that we offer. And for those of you locally here within my listening voice, our area food bank is the Mercer Street Friends, which is located at 824 Sylvia Street in West Trenton, New Jersey, and their number is 609-406 0503. So we want you to all be aware that we've got to change our diet. We've got to change what we do as far as a sedentary lifestyle. Exercise more, watch the foods we eat, and kind of do a well-rounded lifestyle and change.
Let's hope our food banks also adhere to a low-fat, high-fiber diet as well.
Exactly. Now, I know we talked a little bit about the 10-point plan on cancer, life, and extension. Is there anything that you'd like to say in closing, Dr. Simone? Because it's Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month.
Let's talk about screening.
Go ahead.
What we need to do also, around age 45, 40 or so in this country, regardless of race, we need to be screened. How do we screen ourselves properly? A good rectal exam is a start. A stool for all-called blood is a next step, which means you take a little stool, you can go over the counter and get a little kit and test for hidden blood in the stool that you can't see with your eye. And if they're positive, you go to a doctor, of course, with that stool sample. The rectal is done by a doctor, of course. Colonoscopy is the next best thing, and that should be done as well after age 50. And pending the results of that test, it can be done anywhere from 5 to 10 years later after that. So these three things are important as a screening tool. And remember, earlier detection can help the patient, okay? The sooner you get in, the better off you are. And colon cancer has a better rate of cure with earlier detection, more than almost any other cancer.
One of the things that we like to say through the New Jersey program, New Jersey C program, is early detection is always the best protection.
Right.
And we are big on screening for life. So let me reiterate what Dr. Simone said. If you do not have a doctor, we have several locations here in Mercer County and other areas. Seek out a federally qualified health center. If you have a doctor and you are at least 50 years of age or older, you need to be screened for colorectal cancer. It is by far the most preventable cancer as far as death from cancer that we can do. So I want to thank you, Dr. Simone.
Take-home message, lower fat, increase your calcium intake, and start taking aspirin in the evenings with your food.
And exercise. Right. And if you can't exercise, just walk, folks.
That's all you have to
do.
Walk.
Just walk. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Charles B. Simone from the Simone Protective Cancer Institute.